Okay!
Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
Always trust everyone to be themselves, but trust in the fact that you can see them well. I mean, so it's like, you know, trust. It takes too much energy to not trust someone. I mean, it takes too much energy. You always gotta stay 2 steps ahead of them or whatever. Right. But trust them to be them.
Right. To be themselves.
Trust the snake to bite you. Right. Trust the lion to laugh. Trust the thief to steal from you. Like, trust them to be them. Too. But know them when you see them.
Peace. This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. This evening, we have corrupt to the core. Deviance committed by those who swore to protect and serve. In all of my life, I've seen some who protect and serve, but in totality, I don't see men in uniform protecting and serving. I see men abusing their perceived power and taking advantage of situations and people. This evening, we're going to go over with some video footage examples of police officers who avail themselves and force themselves on people and abuse their perceived power.
We continue following breaking news tonight. A now former Jacksonville police officer is facing multiple criminal sex charges involving a minor.
This former officer has been identified as 34-year-old Josue Garriga III. This is a photo of him when he was a deputy with the Putnam County Sheriff's Office before joining JSO. Let's get straight to news for Jax reporter Eric Avanier joining us live from JSO headquarters with the latest, Eric, on Garriga's arrest.
Well, Garriga resigned right before he was arrested in Clay County. Prior to that arrest, he was a member of the JSO gang unit. And prior to his employment here at JSO, he was a sheriff's deputy with the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. But now he's a suspect in a criminal case involving sexual misconduct. The criminal investigation into 34-year-old Josue Garriga III began nearly 3 weeks ago when the mother of a 17-year-old female told Clay County investigators that she found inappropriate communications on her daughter's cell phone. She also told investigators that she observed Garriga flirting with her underage daughter in church. When detectives searched the teenager's phone, they say they found more than 300 calls between her phone and Garriga's phone between October of last year and earlier this month. According to detectives, Garriga used the WhatsApp on his phone to send the teen nude pics of himself and solicit her to send nude pics of herself. The teen told detectives she last met with Garriga in person at an undisclosed business in Clay County, which was recorded on surveillance video. She also disclosed information about inappropriate touching inside his car. Garriga was arrested and booked into the Clay County Jail on a $375,000 bond after he was interviewed by detectives.
Cops are held to a higher standard.
they should be. They must be.
News for Jack's crime and safety analyst Tom Hackney is a retired JSO director of investigations.
Police officers today, so-called police officers, certainly lowered the bar with their behavior, their conduct, and their knowledge of the law. They lowered the bar of who can be a police officer today.
He says the allegations against Garriga are beyond disturbing.
It's truly infuriating, is what it is. So you hear about these kind of things happening, and there isn't a law enforcement officer, male, female, worth their salt, not just in Jacksonville, but really anywhere, that hears about this that doesn't get their stomach turned.
Garriga is no stranger to controversy. Back in 2019, he shot and killed 22-year-old Jamie Johnson during a traffic stop. Johnson was pulled over for not wearing a seatbelt. The interaction between the two men, which was recorded on police body cam, turned violent when Johnson and Garriga.
What I can't understand is how a cop pulls someone over for not wearing a seatbelt and get violent with them. This means that the young man who was traveling without wearing a seatbelt, he could have been traveling 100 miles an hour without a seatbelt on, but he was safer in that car traveling 100 miles an hour without a seatbelt than having an encounter with the cops. Shameful.
Got into a scuffle. Although the shooting was ruled justifiable, Johnson's family filed a wrongful death suit in federal court against the city. Then the city settled the case for $200,000. And more recently, Garriga was also involved in the arrest of Lou Ken Woods, which sparked claims of police brutality. But Sheriff T.K. Waters said excessive force was not used. Now, it's unclear if Garriga has an attorney at this point. Of course, when we get more information about the allegations, we will post those details on our website, newsforjax.com. Reporting live from outside DSO headquarters, Eric Avigny, Channel 4, the local station.
Then we're going to go to 3 former Mesa police officers accused of sexual misconduct.
Now to an Arizona's family exclusive involving 3 veteran police officers from one Valley department. They are the subjects of scathing allegations.
Yeah, 2 of the cases include prostitutes, the third an extramarital affair with the woman that officer was called to help. Investigator Amy Cutler spent the last month looking into these cases, alarming allegations for a community that relies on these officers.
Yes, certainly concerning. We trust officers to serve and protect, and that's why the Mesa Police Department and the Mesa Police Union agree with the outcome in these cases. Mesa PD's Professional Standards Unit investigated all 3 cases, determining the officers should be terminated. All of it coming to light in just a 5-month time span. With all 3 officers facing disturbing allegations, come along with us as we track them down.
What's his name?
Young Chang.
Young Chang. Pretty sure that was him.
Hi, Young. Hi, my name's Amy. I'm with Arizona's Family, Channels 3 and 5.
I was going on vacation, so I would have come back with like 7 hours of vacation left, so I called it good.
Officer Young Chang offering up that explanation about why, after nearly 25 years on the job with Mesa PD, he abruptly retired in June. In professional standards memos, they found he started an affair in March with a woman who was overdosing, her ex-husband calling police for help. She says Chang started texting her from his personal phone soon after. According to a statement the woman gave to investigators, she was in a vulnerable position. She later agreed to let Chang track her and install 2 video cameras in her apartment, allowing him remote access to live viewing.
So now you're going to ruin my family, ruin my wife's career, as I'm trying to go back to having a normal life because I had a little oopsies.
That little oopsie, according to internal investigation records, found Chang engaged in sex acts with the woman while on duty between March and May, meeting her behind at least 9 businesses. He was in uniform, driving a department vehicle at the time. Why would you meet up with this woman while you were on duty for a relationship that was not
It was like,
appropriate?
okay, it was like a 5 minute, hey, what's up kind of thing. How you doing?
Chang denies any sexual contact with a woman while on the job. However, a Mesa PD internal investigation disagrees. It upheld all the allegations. So Chang retired and
I gave up my certifications.
turned in his AZ Post certification, meaning he can no longer be in law enforcement in Arizona. But
They should take that pension too. They should not have allowed him to retire and get 65% of his salary. They need to take that pension too.
gets to keep his pension. Next up, Detective Jeffrey Silva, a 16-year veteran of the Mesa Police Department. A professional standards memo accuses him of soliciting a prostitute near a Burger King near US 60 and Country Club while on duty in December 2021. Turns out that woman was an undercover officer. Internal investigators report that he waved at her. She asked what he was looking for. He responded, "All of you." When that undercover officer followed up, the documents show he said, "I have $20 to $30. I shouldn't do this." When investigators later questioned him, he admitted the exchange, but claims he told her he was joking with her since he recognized her.
My name's Amy Cutler. I'm a reporter with Arizona's Family, channels 3 and 5.
Yeah, I have nothing to say right now. Sorry. Thank you.
A Mesa PD internal investigation affirmed the allegations, recommending he be terminated. He resigned in January before that happened. Then there's Officer Brandon Cosman. We tried to track him down at the very home that's at the center of the case. No answer at the door. Mesa's internal affairs unit accused him of hiring a prostitute back in June to come to his home and then assaulting her. According to the statement she gave police, she claims Cosman hit her extremely hard in the back of the head. She passed out or lost consciousness, and when she could, she got up and ran out. Once home, she called authorities. Cosman had been with Mesa PD for 6 years. He resigned a month later.
If I were the chief in Mesa, I'd certainly want to at least ask questions as to whether there was anything about these officers. Do they work together? Do they work in a similar unit?
Dr. Michael Scott is a former police chief. He's now director of the Center for Problem-Oriented Policing at ASU. Even though these cases involve 3 officers out of 1,200 in Mesa, Dr. Scott believes these cases should trigger a larger department review.
So the real issue, I think, for many people is how did the department respond to it? Did they take appropriate action in a timely fashion?
Mesa police declined an interview. In a statement, they called the actions of these 3 officers unacceptable. We will thoroughly investigate any allegation of misconduct and will take appropriate action when warranted. Chang, Cosman, and Silva all turned in their AZ Post certification.
At that point, they have to admit no wrongdoing.
Matt Giordano, the executive director of AZ Post, says when an officer leaves a department, that agency is required to notify them about the circumstances. He says these 3 cases would have triggered investigations, but since the officers left the force, that wasn't necessary.
That would make it a lot harder for them to move to another state and become enter law enforcement there.
I wouldn't say impossible, but very close to impossible for them to ever work as a law enforcement officer anywhere in the country again.
Now, we also checked with the Department of Public Safety. None of these now former officers have applied for a license to be a security guard or even a private investigator. Only Cosman is facing criminal charges, 2 misdemeanors, the first for soliciting a prostitute, the second for assault. He has pleaded guilty, or pleaded not guilty rather, and is set to appear in court in December. Amy Cutler for Arizona's Family investigates.
Crazy. It gets crazier. It gets crazier. They supposed to be the ones serving and protecting. They have special victims unit. They need to be investigating.
Well, after a story aired here on ABC 10 about a Stockton police sergeant.
They need to be investigating their own. If half of the police would do their job, the other half would be locked up.
Accused of sexual misconduct 2 more women are now coming forward. Just days ago, one of the attorneys for the alleged victims shared graphic details about the case. ABC 10's Kurt Rivera has the new developments.
Sergeant Nicholas Blode, a 14-year veteran with the Stockton Police Department, now facing more serious accusations while wearing his badge on duty.
I'm surprised that only 2 other women have come forward at this point, given how egregious and this over-the-top reckless the sergeant's conduct has been.
The new accusations stem from a February 21st meetup Gillian says happened at a Stockton motel while Blode was on duty. According to Gillian, Blode had been in a relationship with a female escort for several years and arranged a sex date with the escort, who on this night was reluctant to take part in.
And he says, I'm on my way. And so she gets this other woman, a friend, to stay there and say, hey, can you just be here? Because maybe when he shows up and he sees that there's somebody else with me, he'll just turn around and go away.
But Gillian says Blode stayed and coerced both women to have sex with him. Fast forward to April, and one of the women is involved in testifying in a separate abuse case.
While they were there with the DA's investigators, they said, hey, we're going to show you this.
Gillian says this was her phone, filled with sexting messages between the woman and sergeant. And what Gillian says are the actual texts. The sergeant uses the name Jay in conversations and asks in one, quote, before I go, can you send me a pic? And, quote, gotta take one for me? Graphic sexual images are then exchanged. As for the Stockton Police Department, they will not confirm or deny any more women have come forward in this case. They do say it is an active investigation and encourage anyone with additional information to contact them.
Now, the Stockton Police Officers Association released a statement saying, in part, they are shocked and disturbed to learn of the accusations. If criminal accusations are found to be true against any person, officer or civilian, that person needs to be held accountable.
Next, police find several women who accuse
In the heart of Tornado Alley in 2014, Oklahoma has an easy year, less than 20 twisters. But in Oklahoma City, the police department is getting slammed with a man-made disaster.
Oklahoma City Police confirmed they are investigating this claim.
The force rocked by allegations against one of its own. Officer Daniel Holdsclaw is preying on those he's sworn to serve and protect. But now he's the one being pursued by sex crimes detective Kim Davis, and it is personal.
For someone to use the badge and the gun to just do the most demeaning thing to a human being, it's infuriating. It was my main focus. I was going to put him in prison.
The alleged victim, Oklahoma City native Janie Liggins. She runs a daycare.
Dale Holtclaw was a outright predator, and they threw the book at him. They threw a whole shelf of books at his ass, rightfully so.
Center is 57 years old, a mother of 4, and a grandmother of 12.
I looked in my rearview mirror and I noticed the lights and I know it was a police car.
She recalls the night she was pulled over along a section of 50th Street. The officer told her she was driving erratically.
And when I opened the door, he came to my car. He said, I stopped you because I saw you was swerving.
He starts to question her about a cup of Kool-Aid seen in this police photo and whether she's been drinking. She says she had not. But when the cops start searching her, Liggins says the traffic stop gets weird and scary. She says he orders her to expose herself.
I'm like, what? You want me to take my pants down? Then he was like, yes. I said, oh, no, sir. I said, you're not supposed to do that, sir.
Liggins says Holdsclaw then forced her to commit a sex act on him as he stood by the open rear door of his police car.
She was scared to death she was going to die. She didn't look at his face. She didn't look at his name tag. She said all she could stare at was his gun.
In his police interview, Holdsclaw acknowledges Liggins was afraid of him.
Did she ever ask you if you were going to shoot her?
She did. She was talking about a pistol all the time and talking about guns and whatnot. And I'm like, calm down. I'm like, I'm not going to shoot you or anything like that.
Did she think you were going to shoot her?
Maybe.
It's disgusting. And this is my mother, who is a grandmother.
Liggins' daughter, Latoya Rifa, sat by her mother's side during our interview.
And He assumes that he could do this because there's no way she's going to report him. There's no way nobody's going to believe her.
And did he say anything?
He just backed up and he zipped his pants up and he moved back, and I just got out his police car and walked towards my car thinking he was going to shoot me in the back. And he let me live to tell the story. Big mistake.
2 hours later, encouraged by her family, Liggins reports the assault to the police.
If I could have went and found him myself, I would have gladly done so.
Do you want to take a moment? You okay?
Did you believe her?
Yes, I did. There was no motive for her to make this up.
Detectives scour Holtzclaw's car for evidence, but find nothing more than fast food wrappers, muscle supplements, and a Justin Timberlake CD. But when they examine Holtzclaw's uniform, hoping to find Janie Liggins' DNA, they get a shock. They find DNA all right, but it's not hers, and it's not from Holtzclaw's girlfriend either.
There was unknown DNA, female DNA on the inside of his pants.
Detectives now deduce two things. The unknown DNA may be another victim, and Holtzclaw, a serial predator. The hunt begins for a match to the mystery DNA.
We weren't going to stop till we found it. Juries today want DNA because everybody watches CSI.
Everybody wants the DNA moment.
Right.
They begin checking the records of Holtzclaw's encounters with other women on his beat.
I think we hand searched 6 paper boxes full of those, trying to find everybody he ran.
So that's like thousands of names is my
Oh,
assumption.
thousands. We just made a list of black females that he stopped and ran and started going door to door.
Behind those closed doors, and as the investigation widens, just what they feared. They find more women who say they too were attacked by a cop. And when the story leaks,
An officer has been placed on administrative leave.
still more women come forward. Take the case of 22-year-old Shardarian Hill, who was handcuffed to this hospital bed, high on drugs after an arrest, when she says she was sexually assaulted.
I didn't know what to think. I was scared because I was just like, this is a police officer. I didn't know what to do. And then I'm handcuffed to the bed. So I'm just like,
you're powerless.
Yes, I'm in his custody. I don't know what he might do next. So I just didn't even say nothing.
And then there's Carla Raines, a 45-year-old mother of 2, who says she was forced to expose herself by an officer, supposedly checking for drugs or weapons.
So it got to the point to where I raised up my shirt. Okay, can I go now? Can you let me go?
Why didn't you report it?
I didn't think that anything would happen.
And then the police track down this woman, 39-year-old Sherry Ellis. She tells a now familiar story. She was walking down Highland Drive when she was stopped by a cop in a squad car.
And that's when he started doing things that he shouldn't be doing.
What kind of things did he do?
When he searched me, he searched under my clothes. He patted me down up under my clothes.
Ellis says the officer ran her name and found she had an arrest warrant and multiple unpaid fines.
He's like, well, okay, what do you think we need to do about this, Miss Ellis? And I said, I don't know. Are you going to take me to jail? And I was looking down because I said in the back of my mind, oh my God, I'm going to jail, you know. And when I looked up.
When she looked up, she says the officer forced himself on her, but her ordeal would not end there. Afterwards, she says he drove her to this abandoned schoolyard.
He drove me to a school, and let's title the school in the back. And he opened the door. He told me to get out and pull my pants down. And
allegedly assaulted her again.
When it was over, he said I was free to go.
And now police are connecting all those cases, the women, African American, and mostly middle-aged, to that young, all-American, clean-cut cop, Daniel Holtzclaw, an officer allegedly leading a double life on the night shift. 2 months after his interrogation, he is arrested in the parking lot outside his gym.
Police officer arrested. Officer Daniel Holtzclaw is in custody tonight, with several women coming forward claiming to be his victims.
They have Holtzclaw. They also have a growing list of accusers. But there's a problem. Not one of the women is a match to that critical clue, the mystery female DNA found on the uniform.
We kept going and kept searching because we had to find a match.
When we come back, something else that's not adding up. Is it possible police are chasing the wrong man?
Your description doesn't match Daniel Holtzclaw.
That's a bunch of nonsense. Now we're going to go to the city of Louisville, where they paid a settlement to a woman groped by a police officer at a gas station.
An LMPD officer tied up, kissed, and groped a worker at a Louisville gas station while he was on duty. Now the city is paying for it. Tonight, the video, the settlement, and the victim talking only to WDRB investigator Gilbert Corsi.
I love the gas. I love the feeling you get to know the community around you.
Amory Taylor's has worked for Thornton's 8 years, but it's 2 days on the job.
I try to black that out a little bit.
From 2 years ago,
The things he did doesn't make sense to me.
that still haunt her.
He definitely abused his badge.
March 11, 2020. That's Officer Robert Neff, seen in security footage, briefly tying Taylor's hands behind her back with plastic wrap at the Thornton's gas station off Bardstown Road near Fern Creek. Taylor says he came in often as officers received free coffee and drinks, and this was just the beginning of the harassment.
He wanted to give me a hug, so we side hugged, and then he kissed me on my cheek, which at that point I told people, I'm uncomfortable around him. Like, this is not something I'm wanting to pursue.
Did you have any kind of relationship with Robert Neff?
No. He tried to give me his number several times, but honestly, I trashed him.
The next day, Neff returned, and police reports say he stayed more than 2 hours while on duty.
He just kind of kept following me around.
It's here in the back storage area in 2 separate incidents that Neff gropes Taylor. He claimed to be faking a search.
Was grabbing my down between my shirt, was trying to rub up against my leg area. And the whole time, the woman that I was training was in front of me watching it. And she's like, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. And I'm just sitting there because he made me put my hands behind my back and restrained me to where I couldn't move.
What is going through your mind in those moments?
Why me? Why did he see me as the vulnerable person to come into my safe place of work and try to take advantage of me in any way he could? I just really didn't understand the whole situation because it wasn't something I had tried to partake in before. I didn't take your number. I didn't try to do anything but be cordial with people and nice.
Taylor says she felt angry, scared, and helpless.
Is this going to affect my job and how I provide for me and my family?
Neff was charged criminally. He cut a plea deal confessing to sexual misconduct and official misconduct, misdemeanors that came with probation, but no time behind bars. He then quit LMPD.
I don't think that he should have had a right to resign. I think he should have been fired.
Metro government just paid Taylor $55,000, a small piece of LMPD's big settlement pie. The city spent more than $40 million to settle police misconduct cases in the last 5 years. Recently, it agreed to pay $2 million to Breonna Taylor's boyfriend.
I lost everything in this situation, not just only the person I loved more than anybody in this world.
And another $1.8 million to 3 women who accused former Detective Brian Bailey of sexual abuse.
If the cops were just doing what they should do, that money could be used towards so much different things in our city and for our children and different things. That's a lot of money to send out for people doing inappropriate things.
Louisville lost its excess insurance provider, the kind that covered the most high-dollar payouts.
Because of the large numbers of payouts that we have, outside insurance carriers look at the city of Louisville and say, no, I don't think so.
It means these settlements for policing problems.
That's what people need to do when police officers do these egregious things. They need to sue the insurance company that bond the police department. Sue them. That would make the police department a liability to them, and they'll be forced to drop them as a client.
Problems now fall more on taxpayers. Taylor believes more stringent mental health testing could be a solution.
Because if they're mentally unstable, they're going to act out and do mentally unstable things to people who don't deserve it at all.
Do you feel like you got justice?
I feel like I got the justice.
That cop is not mentally unstable. That cop took advantage of someone that he thought he can take advantage of, and he abused his perceived power.
Justice that I was able to handle mentally. I didn't feel like mentally I could take this to trial and try to fight it anymore.
Gilbert Horsey reporting there. Neither Neff's attorney nor LMPD responded to our requests for comment.
We're gonna go to Arizona. It's all over the United States, where two officers was accused of, I'm not gonna say the unthinkable.
Then what happened?
She took me back into the shower room to dress me out, and she shut the door. She had me undress and bend over to cough. And when I bent over to cough, I felt something go up my rectum.
Okay.
And
This female, Jordan Sims, ended up dying in police custody after, she reported that two officers acted inappropriate with her while she was in their custody.
And she said this is what it feels like to really be sexually assaulted. And then she tells me that who's going to believe me because I already just cried wolf about what French did to me.
Okay.
That's why I wasn't going to report it, because I didn't want anyone to think I was stupid.
I love you. I love you very much.
I love you too, Jordan.
I love you very much. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You're the best mom anyone could ever ask for. And I know what I've done to you is wrong in so many ways. Because you're better than that, and so am I. I need you, so please don't give up.
Why are you going to give up?
Having these phone calls, Mom, is the only thing that's keeping me going right now. Knowing that whenever I'm going to call, you're going to be right there to answer.
What happened?
She jumped out. We're almost to the hospital. She jumped out.
She got the shackles. Is this Jordan? Yeah.
She got the shackles.
She jumped out of the
bag.
Notify your guys' supervisor. Yeah, we will. Okay. Hey, Jordan.
How was she able to jump out the police vehicle? First, they're supposed to have the locks on where nobody can just exit the vehicle. First. And I don't believe she jumped out. I believe she was pushed out. And this was a retaliation for her filing charges against the cops.
And Sims, or Jordan, whatever, she jumped out of the vehicle here on 20th Avenue and busted her head open pretty good. TJ said she got out of the shackles and jumped out of the vehicle.
So they want us to believe that she got out of the shackles, and jumped out of the police car. They want the people to believe that.
I'm not really sure here. How fast are you going? 35, she went under the wheels. Going 35, she went under the wheels. Was the back door not locked, or? If you locked, we got in. I locked it, and she had her shackles on. And which door did she come out of? Right here. This one right here. Okay. Did we want to look? Shackles or anything? Okay. Kind of describe what it is. These are the leg shackles down here in her shoes, which they're closed. Yeah. I'm waiting.
So she was able to take the shackles off her hand and feet and then jump out of the vehicle. This is really insulting for them to even try to make up some stupid excuse like this. It's really insulting to everybody who's listening that she was able to take the shackles off her hand and feet and jump out the police vehicle. And then end up under the tires in the wheel well. This is crazy. This is crazy.
I'm sorry. Just a little bit. I know. I'm just tired of yelling at everybody. Just wait.
I share the sentiment of the mother. Her mother, rightfully so, didn't believe that her daughter jumped out of the vehicle. She said she believed that her daughter was pushed out of the vehicle going at a certain speed, which is crazy. Now, this officer French was suspended with pay pending an investigation, while detention officer Bays earlier this year resigned. They did all this because they acted inappropriate with her while she was in their custody, and they retaliated against her and took her life. We'll go to El Mirage Police Department. They detail alleged, S misconduct. I don't want to say the thing because these people at YouTube are very petty. You can tell the truth and they hold it against you. El Mirage Police detail alleged misconduct between employee and a teenage student.
My name is Lieutenant Tim Mason, M-A-S-O-N, with the El Mirage Police Department. Today, the El Mirage Police Department is here to announce the arrest of Nathan Jellicoe. Mr. Jellicoe will be booked in the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office on 10 counts of sexual exploitation or sexual conduct with a minor and 2 counts of luring a minor for sexual exploitation. Mr. Jellicoe is a 24-year-old male who resides in Glendale. At the time of his arrest, he was employed with the Dysart High School. At that time, he was a security guard and an assistant football coach. Today, the Dysart High School staff alerted the Elm Rush Police Department about some information they had that Mr. Jellicoe was involved in a sexual relationship with a student. The quick thinking staff identified the 16-year-old female victim, notified the school resource officer, and they took swift and immediate action. And I want to commend the school and the school district for doing such. Once officers began their investigations, they conducted numerous interviews with the 16-year-old victim, witnesses, as well as the suspect. Officers collected physical evidence, and through that investigation, officers were able to determine that Mr. Jellicoe had been involved in a sexual relationship with this 16-year-old victim from approximately October 4th to about October 12th today, with the last instance of sexual contact with this juvenile female being today. Additionally, through this investigation, the officers and detectives of the Elm Rush Police Department have determined that Mr. Jellicoe is going to be booked and charged tonight with 10 counts, as I said, sexual misconduct with a minor, and then 2 counts of luring that minor. So there were a number of students that had become aware of this sexual relationship between Mr. Jellicoe and this student, this 16-year-old victim. There were text messages that had been sent to and from the victim. Those text messages were shared with other students. Detectives have obtained those text messages, and that's when staff alerted us.
You said the last known contact was even conduct was even today, as recent as today.
Yeah.
What can you say about what happened today? Was it on campus? Was it before campus?
So I can tell you that our investigation has revealed that all the sexual intercourse involving Mr. Jellicoe and the 16-year-old victim occurred on campus.
Do you know what part of the campus it was?
You know, I don't know specifically at this time where those incidents occurred. You know, listen, the school district and the Dysart High School, as well as the Elm Rush Police Department, are deeply concerned with any other potential victims. At this time, we're not aware of any. But what we're asking is that the public please provide information, if you have any, on this incident involving this 16-year-old victim, as well as any other information you have about potential victims that could be out there. Yeah, I can tell you that he's in a position of authority, he's in a position of trust, and therefore there is a particular statute that will be leveraged and with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office when he's booked. You know, I think the first thing is to have open communication with your children. I think when you're a parent, you need to create and foster that environment where your children aren't afraid to come forward. I can tell you that this 16-year-old victim's family is cooperating with authorities and really is working with this victim as we move forward.
Now we're going to go to a police chief accused of the same egregious acts. A police chief in Orlando, Florida.
Well, the Cocoa Beach police chief is in some hot water tonight. He's accused of bullying, sexual harassment, and creating a hostile work environment.
He's been on leave since February. The city is investigating those claims right now and then interviewing witnesses. Fox 35's Deborah Cho has been digging through all these documents tonight, so she joins us with the latest. What'd you find, Deborah?
Yeah, so John Luann, this report right here outlines what 4 employees are accusing the chief of. Now, the city says it couldn't support the claims of sexual harassment, but it does believe the chief's behavior did create a hostile work environment.
Tonight, we're getting a better understanding of what caused the Cocoa Beach police chief to go on leave back in February. New documents from the city of Cocoa Beach detail several employees accusing police chief Scott Rosenfeld of bullying, abusive behavior, and possible sexual harassment. The employees came forward and told the city manager, Robin Hayes, about the allegations. Employees claimed the police chief would make comments about people's weight, along with using anti-gay slurs. The documents also show that he called an employee sexy when she's mad, and how he was, quote, hot on and, quote, falling in love with another employee. Employees also say Rosenfeld would show them images of a naked porn star. The police chief denied most of the claims made during the investigation with the city manager. He told her he couldn't understand what was happening, but said he would work on his characteristics.
Now, tonight, the city commission did meet, but they did not discuss this. The mayor says this will be brought up at an upcoming commission meeting as the city's legal team analyzes these findings. Now, we did put in a request for a comment from the police chief, and we'll let you know if we get a response. Reporting in studio, Deborah Cho, Fox 35 News.
Thanks, Deborah.
We're going to go over to Chicago, where police officers are accused of misconduct. It's all over this country.
Right now, the Chicago Police Department is investigating claims that several officers engaged in sexual misconduct with migrants living.
You know, a lot of times the police will investigate themselves and they'll find no wrongdoing. Every municipality should have a civilian review board that takes the entire department under review and weed out the bad ones. All this extra training, no. It shouldn't be no extra training. It should be additional training that they should learn as they go on, and they should be quizzed on how much of the law that they know. And if they're not cutting it, they should be fired, period.
Living at a West Side police station. Many in the community expressing outrage as key questions remain unanswered. CBS 2's Andrew Ramos is live outside the 10th District Police Station in North Lawndale with new details. Andrew.
That's right, Dana. And what we can report is that all the migrants who are being housed here at the 10th Police District now have been relocated. We're told that they were dispersed across the city to other shelters, a majority of them having been bussed out early Friday. Now, the allegations, as you mentioned, incredibly disturbing, alleging police officers here at the district were having sex with migrants. Sources say as many as 4 officers are involved in the alleged misconduct. Even more disturbing, sources tell CBS 2 that
they do this same thing all over the place. They'll find a migrant or they'll find somebody vulnerable and just take advantage of them, not helping the vulnerable, not helping the people who need help. This is what they do to the vulnerable and preying on the weak.
a teenage migrant is now pregnant as a result of one of these alleged encounters. The only thing that Chicago Police Department would confirm is that it has opened an investigation into the allegations. The Civilian Office of Police Accountability, the agency that investigates police misconduct cases, also now investigating. The Fraternal Order of Police, the union that represents Chicago police officers, is pushing back against the claims, calling them ridiculous in a statement posted on YouTube late Friday.
There is no validity to the complaint. There is no basis or origin on where it originated from. We don't have.
What happened to, we're going to investigate, we must remain transparent and all that. This dude is coming out and saying there's no validity, meaning that this person is outright lying. The person's claims that they were sexually assaulted is non-valid. This is very irresponsible. And I don't care where you go in this country, when you have the FOP president standing before the people, the police officer can shoot and kill somebody, or they can do this egregious act right in front of them. He'll say it's not valid.
A victim's name or anything, or victims repeatedly or multiple at this point. Who knows if it's even true?
Now, a spokesperson for Mayor Brandon Johnson says that the city is taking these allegations very seriously. The names of the 4 officers allegedly involved in this situation are not yet known. For now, we're live outside the 10th Police District. I'm Andrew Ramos, CBS 2 News.
Andrew, thank you.
Now, this is the part that I, wanted to get to. To catch a predator, police officers who were caught.
Once he gets his clothes back on, he walks outside and is arrested by that camouflage.
Police officers who are soliciting who they thought was minors on To Catch a Predator.
Officer.
Police on the ground! Sir, right there. You come here. You come here. Let go of the child. Get down. Get your ass on the ground now.
Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Okay. Get on the ground. Let go of the keys. No, they're my keys.
Let go of the keys.
All right. All right.
Stop resisting.
I'm not resisting.
I guess I'm under arrest, huh?
You think?
Sir? Sir. What? When's the last time you used speed?
I used it by you 2 months ago, sir.
Is it 2 months ago usually means 2 days or 2 hours?
But can you just please let me go? Because let you go. Please, I beg of you.
You beg of me what?
Just let me go, please.
Yeah.
Please let me go.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious.
I'll tell you what.
I've never done such a thing in my life. I never want to do it again.
Just that simple. Just let me go. Let me go. I solicited someone who I thought was a child and I'm busted. Please just let me go. How privileged and entitled this guy think he is.
I just want to go, okay?
Since you're the first person to say that today, we'll let you go.
You know who I am? No. And you're sitting here telling me your whole life story. Just
as long as you be copacetic with us, we'll be good with you, okay? Okay.
You lived with this girl and you didn't know her name.
I've had a lot of girlfriends.
Well, I'm sure you had, Travis.
You have a girlfriend or anything? No. When's the last time you had a girlfriend? Never.
Oh, this guy here. This guy right here. That's a nose that is an outright target. He couldn't get in the fight. That's an outright target right there. He got a smeller on him.
Never. So you're kind of desperate. Not mean that in a bad way.
So do you see your role as helping them through their life as well as them helping you?
I'm always doing that. That's the person I am.
Sounds like you've done it for many years.
You knew that you were going to come up here and have sex with a 13-year-old, huh? A nice, exciting 13-year-old girl. That's what was going to happen, huh?
That's right.
I learned my lesson the first time.
Obviously not.
I mean, I'm sure I'll probably flip-flop. Here's the problem we got. Yeah. You ready for the problem? Yeah. Is you don't want to go to jail for a long time.
When you're shaking around like that, you can't really hear me very well. I mean, if it wasn't a setup, dude, you were gonna have sex with her.
Honestly, no.
Don't. Let me tell you what I've learned in 14 years of law enforcement. When someone starts a conversation off with honestly, they're not being honest, man.
I was just being honest. Well, I'll be honest from the beginning. Yeah, like okay.
I said, I have this ex fix, and she said, okay, 12 years old. The girl's 12 that you're talking to.
This kid posed himself to you as being a 14-year-old, and that's the conversation that you're having with him? But he was in that chat. Does that make it okay if you know the 14-year-old kid and you're asking him how big his is or how nice his is?
Okay, the profile on her
disgusting
chat
Right.
said she was 15.
And as far as the integrity goes of that, it's meaningless. People say that there can be 130 or whatever. So it really doesn't mean anything.
So if this girl said she was 6, you would have come out here too?
they found 3 condoms in your pocket.
Yeah, I always carry condoms with me.
You always carry 3 condoms in your pocket?
Well, actually, they've been there for quite a while, and I
mean,
didn't know I
I'm
had 3.
single. I'm not married, and I don't carry condoms around.
Why did you throw the KY jelly in the car? I don't. Like I said, I don't know if it's KY or hand lotion. Okay, what were you going to use it for? You can. One's for sex, one's for washing your hands. You weren't going to wash your hands with KY, right?
We just searched your truck.
Yeah.
And we found something in the cabin.
Yeah.
A device I'm not familiar with.
Well, it's a pump for a thing, penis, right?
Say it again?
It's a penis pump.
Okay. Tell me more about that. It had spikes coming off of it. What is that?
I don't remember now.
It's some kind of ring.
A finger indexer for clipping through papers.
No.
Well, that's what I got it for.
Where'd you get it?
I think I got that in an office supply store.
No, you didn't buy that at an office supply store. Maybe an adult bookstore or someplace like that? Is it some kind of stimulator?
I guess it could be.
You're talking to this girl about doing all kinds of things.
Okay, I'm doing it out of a fantasy, not out of.
How can it be a fantasy when you send a picture of your penis to him?
Jungle Mania. So do you have a nice
Yeah, but what were we talking about prior to that?
cleaning?
No, I mean.
It doesn't matter what you're talking about prior to it. You're asking him something sexually explicit, correct?
You said that you love to be used by young boys. Is that true? Is that what you said? And then you say love dirty boys, B-O-I-S, who love getting freaky. Now, what does that last part mean? Did you talk about touching her breast with your mouth and stuff too?
In your chats, you talk about her sucking your dick.
You said, what do you like to do with a guy? You like getting your cock sucked?
Where do you want my sperm first? I don't know. Mouth, pussy, or ass?
Jungle Mania, 5:46 p.m. I love to have a guy come in my mouth. What's that? Oh boy, the stuff. Oh boy, the when it goes in your mouth. Jungle Mania. Oh, now I never waste a load.
You typed to her that you wanted her to slap you, okay, spank you, humiliate you, put a strap-on on, and engage in anal intercourse with you, go to the bathroom on your face.
You write in here, will you pee and shit in my mouth?
Were you wanting to have a meaningful relationship and make love to this girl, or were you wanting to
Straight
just treat her real
weirdos.
hard and treat her bad and beat on her? I was wanting to have.
Jungle Mania. Sneak out for a
That was a conversation not tonight.
It doesn't matter. What are you asking him to sneak out to do?
Oh, I know. I understand.
What? Okay.
I understand where you're coming from, but you know, that was like the first chat we ever had.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay? Come on, Ken. Honestly.
I mean, I know what my intentions are.
So do
but,
I.
Well,
Okay. It's pretty obvious, Ken.
no, it's not.
Yes,
not
it
to
is.
me. I know what I am.
And what is that?
A damn predator.
I'm a man with a good heart. The kid was lonely, bored, and that's all it was.
So that's why you asked him how big his penis was. You're telling me that you came up here just to meet him after all this conversation with him about sexually explicit things, about oral sex, in his mouth, coming in somebody's mouth.
You see how that would be kind of odd that you would have pictures of small children on your computer, you're blaming it on your brother, but you're here after chatting with a 13-year-old girl about having sex all the way from Toledo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's cut to the crap. Okay? That's a nice way of me telling you that you're not telling me the truth.
It doesn't look good for you because you're lying the whole time. We already have what you said. So when you say, wait, let me finish. When you say the whole time that all of this was to come meet a girl to play video games, that's a lie. See?
I never said anything about having vaginal sex.
Oh, yes, you did.
Well,
What do you think was going to happen?
I thought she was going to ask me to take her for a ride to get a burger. I would have talked to her a little bit, gotten.
Now you don't sit here and piss on my hand and tell me it's raining. Yes, do I have stupid written on my forehead? Do I? Because you're talking to me like I'm stupid, okay? Yes, do I look like I fell off the turnip truck yesterday? Come on. Man, I'm tired of being lied to, and that's what you're doing to me. You're lying to me. Yes, you are. You do.
Why am I being arrested? I haven't really done anything. Don't you think I should?
We prevented it. We prevented it from happening.
So why am I still arrested though?
Because you came up here to prey on a 13-year-old girl.
I know, but that part is over. Whatever happened, I mean, don't
What?
you think I should be let go now?
So you can go find another 13-year-old? I have a responsibility. I'm responsible to keep my community safe.
You're right.
I showed him some pictures. He admitted he transmitted those to
I mean, yeah,
he's toast.
it is.
What happens next?
Now you go to jail.
Now, Anthony Phillips, police officer, predator. This is the next video. Beyond deviance. These are people.
Chris Hansen take the risk to catch a predator. Who wouldn't want to visit Flagler Beach?
This Breckenridge County Sheriff's deputy is telling his side of the story.
Why he thinks he was fired 13 years after a To Catch a Predator sting.
What do you want to say to people in the community who are outraged to hear that you were even an officer?
They didn't come to me to talk to me. Ask me the true story.
Now, this guy here was on To Catch a Predator, and he became a police officer after he was on To Catch a Predator. After he was busted soliciting a minor, he became a cop afterwards. And it caught up to him 13 years later after somebody seen the footage of him on To Catch a Predator, and that's when he got fired. Rightfully so.
What happened 13 years ago is coming to light now.
Okay, what's your name? Anthony. Okay, quit shaking. Just try to relax. I just got a couple of questions that I'm going to ask you. A lot of it's just for some paperwork and stuff like that. Have you ever been arrested before? No? Okay.
33-year-old Anthony Phillips started working as a Breckenridge County Sheriff's deputy last November after working for years at the Breckenridge County Detention Center. But his career at the sheriff's office didn't last long. Nobody would answer our questions, so WDRB used open records to get more information about Phillips, and this is what we uncovered in his personnel file. Among the more than 40 pages of information is a letter Breckenridge County Sheriff Todd Pate wrote to Phillips saying he's fired effective May 4th. Phillips was able to pick up his last paycheck 2 days later. It doesn't say why he was fired, but WDRB found court records that may shed some light. Phillips was arrested in Flagler Beach, Florida in 2006 for a number of charges, including a felony for lewd or lascivious conduct, computer pornography, and child exploitation. He was 21 years old at the time. Breckenridge County Chief Deputy Bruce Anthony says his office found out about a To Catch a Predator police sting in which Phillips was arrested for trying to have sex with a teenage girl.
And that's what I'm getting at. Had it actually been a 14-year-old girl, you would have had sex with her. The situation was there. You drove 2 hours. Basically, you brought a condom with you, basically to have sex with her. You intended to have sex with her. Don't you think that's a little young?
The Flagler County Clerk's Office says Phillips pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanors of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Anthony says his office called Florida officials to check on the case and says the misdemeanors would not have stopped Phillips from working with the department because they aren't felonies. But in Phillips' termination letter, Sheriff Pate writes, based on information revealed in your polygraph exam and interview at the academy that you failed to disclose in your interview, I do not feel that I can continue your employment. Adding, my decision to terminate your employment has been very difficult to make. We asked the sheriff's office for details on the polygraph and academy interview, but Anthony says he can't comment and that the sheriff's office is trying to move on. Sheriff Todd Pate told WDRB News he can't reveal when he learned about the Florida charges, but says at the time he worked here, he was a loyal and dedicated employee. Pate recently returned to the office after a second DUI arrest in 5 years and also isn't commenting on that. Pate is expected to be arraigned next week.
Phillips could not be reached for comment. Valerie Chin, WDRB News.
Fired Breckenridge County Sheriff's deputy is telling his side of the story.
Why he thinks he was fired 13 years after a To Catch a Predator sting.
What do you want to say to people in the community who are outraged to hear that you were even an officer?
They didn't come to me to talk to me. Ask me the true story.
What happened 13 years ago is coming to light now.
You chat online with a 14-year-old and drive 2 hours to have sex with her? Dude, what were you thinking? Did you
recently been saved? I've been forgiven for everything I've done, so I don't have regrets.
Former Breckenridge County Sheriff's Deputy Anthony Phillips sits down with WDRB and speaks openly about his 2006 arrest in Flagler Beach, Florida, when he was 21 years old.
And after one day of chatting, decided to drive 2 hours to have sex with her. Okay.
What regrets do you have about acknowledging that you were going to meet up with a 14-year-old?
I wasn't until I was convinced to, but I wasn't going to meet up with a 14-year-old because I was the person I was talking to on the phone, I believe came out to be 30s or 40s, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, and the actual picture they had was someone in their 20s.
Phillips was caught during a To Catch a Predator sting. His original felony charges all dropped.
That all I got out of it was a little bit of probation, and I moved on with my life.
But why did you plead guilty, though, to 2 misdemeanors?
Why was his charges dropped is a better question. After doing that, that's a better question. Why was his charges dropped, enabling him to get into law enforcement?
That's what I needed to do.
The sheriff's office saying the 2 misdemeanors didn't prohibit him from becoming a deputy. But after 6 months on the job, Sheriff Todd Pate fired him.
Why do you think you were fired now, then?
The true reason? I would say because, and some of these words are actually from the chief deputy's mouth, not mine, but combination of both, because of the situation the sheriff is in already, and the scrutiny that the department was already under.
Pate is expected to be arraigned this week for a second DUI in less than 5 years. The termination letter says, based on information revealed in your polygraph exam and interview at the academy that you failed to disclose in your interview, I do not feel that I can continue your employment.
What did you not tell them?
Well, first off, I want to clarify that I did not fail the polygraph. It was not because I failed. It was because I was truthful about a situation that is personal in nature, and I don't want to put that out there. But it is not. It is from a childhood thing.
You lied about the charges that you had that you caught from being on To Catch a Predator. Either you lied about it or you omitted the information. You didn't say anything about it, which is deceptive when it comes to a background check.
Phillips says the sheriff's office knew from the beginning about his arrest and recruited him to work there.
When I was withdrawn from the academy due to someone else, I guess you could call it blackmail or extortion or whatever you may want to call it, towards the department. I guess they believed this wouldn't come out if they did what the person was telling them they wanted them to do by getting rid of me.
Pate telling WDRB that Phillips' firing had nothing to do with his own situation or anyone telling him to fire Phillips. Phillips had worked for the jail for 6 years. He's now moving on with his life, saying he has support from his family and church.
I've gotten to peace with what happened.
Tate says he's still looking to hire another deputy.
That is just going to mess me up.
You can't walk away from the crime, no matter what you say. For the crime, damage done today. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you say.
Now we're going to a 911 caller who collided with motorcycle.
We're getting a better understanding of the
That's the
chaos
scene.
that unfolded last week after a motorcycle collided with a Mobile police car. Now, tonight, we have obtained the 911 transcripts from 7 calls that flooded in after the wreck, deadly wreck. Now, as you're about to see, some of the callers claim the officer left the scene.
Did they get the person that hit him?
Yeah, it's the cop. The cop was coming through the light.
The police hit him?
He's up there. Yeah.
No. This was the frantic scene seconds after a motorcycle collided with a Mobile police car at a busy intersection. Tonight, 911 transcripts are detailing what other witnesses reported shortly after the deadly impact. 67-year-old Robert Sayan was killed in the crash. It was a hectic scene Friday night at the intersection of Ziegler Boulevard and Cody Road. People yelling and screaming, angry at what they saw.
Went around this girl car and hit that man. I was behind her and he kept going. He sped around me, hit the motorcycle and kept going.
At least 2 of the people who called 911 backed up those claims. The first call came in at 7:02. The caller told the 911 dispatcher, quote, "There's been a bad motorcycle accident and that the man was knocked off his motorcycle." The dispatcher asked what was the color of the other car. The caller said they didn't know because the driver kept going and that they couldn't see them. After being transferred to Mobile Fire Rescue, the caller was telling someone in the background, quote, "The police hit him and kept going." A fourth 911 call comes in a minute later. The caller tells the operator they're at the corner of Cody and Ziegler and says, quote, "I just saw a police officer in a truck hit a motorcycle and keep going. He hit this man and kept going right in front of us." Surveillance video shows the officer coming down Ziegler, appearing not to slow down as he approached the yellow blinking lights, and his SUV goes out of frame after the collision. The traffic lights at the intersection were malfunctioning, flashing yellow on Ziegler and red on Cody. We're told a city worker was en route to fix the issue when the crash happened. Now, when our photographer first got on the scene Friday, he couldn't find the police car involved in the crash. He eventually located it almost a quarter mile from the intersection. Now, while the investigation continues, the officer has been taken off the streets and placed on administrative duty. Robert Sayan's family has started a GoFundMe. We will have a link posted on our website.
That's right. One of the men told the judge the deputies who tortured him killed him, but he didn't die. The victims say they were beaten, tased, sexually assaulted, and subjected to racial slurs after the law enforcement.
This video is about the goon squad down south in Rankin County who tortured the brothers because they thought that the brothers was dating white women.
Officers accused them of dating white women.
And these are the longest and strongest sentences in United States history for any police officers.
Judgment day for the Goon Squad. 5 disgraced former Rankin County deputies and an ex-Richland police officer sentenced to additional prison time after a judge rejected state prosecutors' recommendation to give the men less time behind bars for abusing 2 black men.
Been a long year, man.
The prosecutors recommended less time than the judge gave them. This is kind of unheard of that the judge will give more time to cops than the prosecution recommended.
But even a short year, and I'm thankful for all y'all, that's been here with us, man, for the ride. All y'all that helped us, with this fight.
Victims Eddie Parker and Michael Jenkins speaking out after the judge handed down the sentences.
It really ain't been about me. It's been about what they did to my mama, how it made her feel, and just to dictate and the bullying.
Sentences for Joshua Hartfield, Brett McAlpin, Jeffrey Middleton, Daniel Updike, and Christian Dedman ranged from 15 years to 25 years. Hunter Elward, who shot Jenkins in the mouth, was given a 45-year prison sentence. Jenkins and Parker's attorney called the judge's ruling historic.
No police officer in the history of Rankin County has ever been held criminally responsible for harming anyone, let alone a black person.
The 6 men are already serving between 17 and a half years to 40 years in prison on federal charges. They will serve the state charges concurrent with the federal sentence. Prosecutors say in January 2023, the deputies handcuffed Jenkins and Parker in their Braxton home, then tased, beat, sexually assaulted, and subjected the men to racial slurs after the law officers accused them of dating white women. While the deputies are headed to prison, the fight for justice in Rankin County isn't over.
Brian Bailey should be on notice that he may be next.
The Rankin County NAACP still demanding Sheriff Brian Bailey resign and for the U.S. Justice Department to prosecute Bailey.
The sheriff, who we consider the leader of the goon squad.
That's right.
So we are going to continue our fight to remove him from office.
Now, the sheriff has said he was in the dark and wasn't aware of what the goon squad was up to. Rankin County facing a $400 million civil lawsuit. The victim's lawyers say a court judgment against the county could bankrupt Rankin County. Back to you.
Now, this next video is a video that was asked to share. Jersey Watcher. Now, this is a video that
it should be posted, and that's it.
this is a video here that made me happy just listening to how citizens called out and went in on the police department. This is right across the bridge from where I live at in Edison, New Jersey. And I love how these comrades against police corruption and abuse went in on them. Check it out.
Times at a Board of Education meeting, I dare you to remove me. I dare you to remove me.
We want it back some more because he went in on these cops and the whole police department.
I don't believe there was ever an intent to put you in prison personally. A question.
Council President, to Deputy Chief Dudash. I saw Deputy Chief Dudash, he's the media coordinator. I asked him if he had an update on the predator catcher case. He says no. He had a lot of slander to say to the media. Through the chair to Deputy Chief Dudash. Deputy Chief Dudash, would you like to admit that you guys were 100% wrong with the predator catcher case and that it was full of lies and that's why I beat the case? You accused me of luring sexual predators to town. That was not true. You accused me of having a predator catcher YouTube channel. That's also not true. You accused me of threatening to cut off somebody's penis. That's not true. You accused me of criminally restraining a child predator, Deputy Chief Dudash. Are you stupid? How can you criminally restrain a child predator that volunteers to have a consensual conversation inside a vehicle because it's too cold outside? And I'm just the cameraman.
Please address the.
I am. I said through the chair to Deputy Chief, and I am allowed to speak to him.
Look at me. Yeah, face me.
I understand he's a coward with zero integrity, but he should come out and say the truth. That it was all full of lies. Are you aware that one of the predators is the son of a police officer and that all his charges were dropped? Are you aware about that? So Deputy Chief Dudash, you guys make me sick. You're a piece of shit. Your whole department's a bunch of pieces of shit. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you as I'm speaking to him.
The language.
Rosenfeld versus New Jersey says I'm allowed to curse. I'm on public property. Deputy Chief Dudash, I think you're a piece of shit. I think the Edison Police Department, the officers are pieces of shit. How much time do I have left, Marlena?
You're almost at
A minute?
You're about to be.
The Edison police are the biggest scumbags. They're pieces of shit. They're a bunch of assholes.
Crystal,
Yes.
I understand you have a lot of admonishment for this, but we got the message.
The Deputy Chief Dudash can go fuck himself. He's a fucking asshole. He's a fucking piece of shit. Rosenfeld versus New Jersey, I'm allowed to curse where the guy said motherfucker many, many times at a Board of Education meeting. I dare you to remove me. I dare you to remove me. Deputy Chief Dudash, you're a fat piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck your whole department. The fact that these people support child sex predators, not until my time's over, Lozman versus Riviera, I cannot be disrupting a meeting if it's my time to speak, Marlena. You are such a piece of shit, Deputy Chief Dudash. Why don't you say the truth? Why don't you say the truth that I'm innocent because you guys lied? Would you like to say that? Would anyone up there from the council demand answers from that fucking piece of shit? Go fuck yourselves.
Anyone else that would like to speak?
You're all pussies.
This actually warms my heart for some reason. I'm kind of like that when it comes to police corruption. They need to be told that they are pieces of shit when they behave like that. Somebody need to tell them. So things like this warm my heart when I hear somebody standing up and telling them exactly like it is. This is going to conclude this episode of Corrupt to the Core. I want to thank everybody for coming through and hanging out with Brother Nasir for this evening. I appreciate it. Peace and power to my brother Key Norfolk, Key Norfolk. Respect. Thank you for hanging out. Sharon Walker, he who enlightens, the sister, the true daughter of darkness, my brother Big Dog Philly OG. Thanks for hanging out with the brother this evening. I appreciate it. Until next time, peace and power.
Always trust everyone to be themselves, but trust in the fact that you can see them well. I mean, so it's like, trust. It takes too much energy to not trust someone. I mean, it takes too much energy. You always gotta stay 2 steps ahead of them or whatever. Right. But trust them to be them.
Right. To be themselves.
Trust a snake to bite you. Right. Trust a lion to laugh. Trust a thief to steal from you. Like, trust them to be them. Too. But know them when you see them.
Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
The once goal-driven, ambitious Sapphire turns to the street life after the sudden death of her big brother Dre. Dre's best friend Devontae tries to honor his homeboy's last request of looking out for his baby sister. A rebellious Sapphire makes it very difficult for Devontae to carry out his promise.
Whether you like it or you don't like it, you love it, you hate it, one thing for damn sure, you are gonna respect it.